And it works! Oh my god, it works! Hi everyone. In my last video I showed you that I want to build an air ventilation system. Not only for my 3D printer, but the printer was the initial reason for it. In this video I want to show you in detail the first of many components that I need to design to make the system work. And for some reason I decided to start with the valve that switches the airflow between two different paths. Out of all the components I could have started with. So let's talk about that. But be warned, this design got complex very quickly. So at the beginning, I just wanted a simple way of redirecting airflow. By the way, I'm using these pipes for the system. These are standard drain pipes with an outer diameter of 110 millimeters and a wall thickness of 3.2 millimeters, also known as DN110 pipes. Why these pipes? Well, you can get them in pretty much every hardware store. They are cheap and they already come with seals. You basically just push them together and they're ready to go. Something like this. And since they are designed to hold liquids inside houses, I'm pretty confident that they're also airtight enough for air, at least for my purpose. So one very important aspect of a ventilation system is where you place the air pump or radial pump, whatever you will use. So you can either design the system to push air through or to pull or suck air out. And that decision is critical. In my case, the air pump will be mounted under the ceiling in my garage. It will blow air out through a short path, but the rest of the system will suck air through the pipes. Why? Well, I'll tell you. So if you push air through a system that is not 100% airtight, and let's be honest, you will never achieve perfect sealing. You will push air and therefore pollutants out through tiny gaps along the way. If you pull air instead, those same tiny gaps will pull air into the ventilation system. That doesn't harm you, it just reduces efficiency a bit. This all comes down to static pressure. In front of a fan, the pressure is lower. Behind the fan, the pressure is higher, and air always tries to balance these pressure differences out. So gaps make it possible to balance out the energy into the outside pressure. I won't go too deep into fluid dynamics here, but that's basically what's happening. So remember, sucking, not blowing. The other point to mention where to position your air pump device is to keep in mind that you have it after the last valve in your system. Otherwise, you would need more than one air pump or radial pump whatsoever if you have more than one air path. For example, my system will have 4 air paths that lead to one air pump. So using these DN110 pipes, I obviously need a valve for these pipes. The valve has to switch airflow between two paths, but it also needs to be aerodynamically efficient. Otherwise, it would reduce airflow and increase noise. My solution was to use a 45-degree angle for the inlet and outlet pipes. However, because the pipes merge into each other in an angle, the cross-section becomes oval instead of circular. That means the flap itself also had to be oval. So to seal the airflow properly, I added seals on both sides of the flap. This is a good example of why pulling air is better than pushing it. With 3D printing, you always have tiny gaps between the layers, so a perfect seal is almost impossible. So to allow movement, the flap rotates around the dowel pin, which is supported by 2 small bearings. And of course, the sealing surfaces needed to be printed properly. Let me show you how not to do it. I obviously did that just as an example to show you how not to 3D print parts, obviously. So this version was printed in a way that required support structures on the sealing surface. And removing those supports would require a lot of post-processing. But I'm too lazy for that, so I printed it again with a better orientation. And this time the sealing surface turned out much smoother. Still, air molecules are very small, so it will never be perfect airtight. But removing 99% of pollutants is still much better than breathing in 100% of them, I guess. So between both parts of the main body, I added a seal to make sure air tightness along those two split lines. So the valve will be installed somewhere inside the system, so I won't be able to see the flap position. To solve this issue, I added position sensors. I'm using small reed switches, which are activated by a magnetic field. And I designed a small sensor module that can be easily installed and replaced. The magnets are integrated into the flap, one on the top and one on the bottom. The valve housing includes mounting points for the sensors. Now, the flap also needs to move, and I don't want to turn it manually. So I'm using a linear actuator with a stroke of 30 millimeters. It connects directly to the flap. The flap also needs to press firmly against the seals in both positions. I'm using a spring-loaded mechanism. So the actuator is mounted on a sliding trolley with springs on both sides. The actual movement of the flap requires slightly less than 30 millimeters. The remaining stroke compresses the springs, which then press the flap firmly against the seals. This should give me a good sealing performance. The spring-loaded mechanism is sitting on one of the inlet pipe connectors that is screwed directly onto the main body inlet side. But again, since I'm pulling air through the system, even small leaks won't push pollutants into the air or into the room. Just reduce efficiency a bit. Does it work? Well, let's see if everything works as expected. Alright, so let's turn on the power supply and let's give it a 12 volts. Let's make it perfect. Minus, plus. And this one goes to the electronics box. Alright, let's test it. Here you can see the dashboard I built. Alright, it works. If I push against the flap, you can feel that it sits firmly on the seal. Well, actually you can't feel it, I do, but I tell you. One downside of the mounting the actuator on springs is that a certain amount of force can still open the flap. So the big question is, will the airflow be strong enough to create suction that can overcome the spring force? Well, that depends a lot on the air pump, which I'm still developing. We'll find out in one of the next videos. So what's next? I'll need this valve 3 times in the full ventilation system, so it better be working. One more challenge, the valve uses a linear actuator and 2 sensors. And yes, all of that needs to be controlled somehow. And since I'll have 3 of these valves, the electronics will get a bit more complex than initially expected. But I'll cover all the electronics and programming in a separate video. In the next video, however, I'll most probably show you how I designed the radial fan for the ventilation system, and we'll make a test how it works. It's going to be fun. I hope you like this design of the valve. Thanks for watching. If you have any ideas for improving the valve, let me know in the comments. And if you think it's already good as it is, also appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. You already know the rest. See you next one.